Guys, welcome back to Breaking Barriers. Oh, just kidding. We're on Rise and Grind. Let's go. I had to mess with Megan today. You got to do it to her sometimes. But guys, welcome back to Rise and Grind. Happy Monday. I hope you guys had a fantastic, recharged weekend and are ready to get after it for this week. And we all know, again, as we start off, how was your weekend?
My weekend was very good. It was very recharging, which is good sometimes. Yeah. What about you?
Good. And I just want to say one thing on that note, right? Again, most people who are in high performing or even just like the weekend should be spent doing the things that we enjoy doing. Obviously, there'll be times where you got to help a friend move or you got to do this or that. But when you're getting after, if you're a business owner watching this or in sales or in some sort of career where, you're grinding, and really grinding during the week, you got to recharge. But this weekend, was a good weekend. So no complaints on my side. But we got some good stuff to talk about here today, guys. So I'm going to let Megan take it away.
We sure do. The first is that when was the last time that you interacted in a Facebook group? Just out of curiosity.
Me personally,
not
I really don't.
As you used to.
No. I'm in groups and I get like the notifications. Like I don't really ever like.
You don't do anything about it. It seems like that's the trend right now because Meta is sending out notifications to group admins that they need to maintain activity or they'll be replaced. So they're seeing that a lot.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, a lot of these group admins aren't as involved as they should be. So if you are a group admin and you haven't been as active, start to be. You might get a notification asking you if you want to have somebody else be an admin of your group. But if there is no admin present or nobody is responding to that notification, the rumor is that Meta is going to sort through the group and figure out which member would be best fit as an admin and offer the notification to them, which is pretty crazy. But again, it comes with a little bit of control, right? If we had an Adapting Social group on Facebook and then Facebook was choosing who to be our admin, I would be a little protective about that group, right? Like which random member could be invited on as an admin.
Right.
Pretty crazy.
And I think one of the things though, when you think about that, it's actually a genius move on his part, because the reality of the situation is groups go stale when somebody is not actually maintaining it and keeping it alive and doing what they need to be doing. And so the issue then there lies that again, Facebook, Meta wants you to be active and they want you to stay on the platform forever. So I like it. I think it's a great idea. I get your point because like I would be like, damn, who's going to do that? But funny enough, that actually happened to me. Maybe like we were in Red Bank still. This happened
to me, years ago.
But with Meetup.com and the business Meetup.com thing, and literally. There was a golf group and I'd never even touched a golf club at that time. And I was invited to it by one of my friends, so he put me in it with him. Long story short, I got a notification one day that
you could be in
his activity enabled me to be in that and asked me, and I accepted it. And there's like 400.
I love that you accepted it.
Totally. Yeah, sure. But to your point, right, was I the best guy for that? I don't even golf.
Right. Well, the platform, I guess, goes through and looks to see. I don't know, maybe you were active or not. That was a different platform, but for Meta, they're looking to see.
So probably was active.
Probably, yeah. So that's going to be really interesting. Again, if you have a group that you're a part of and you're an admin of, ramp up your activity within that group.
And in between these today, I'm going to do a little something different today. Okay, so in between these, I'm going to be throwing out a couple of different things. Okay, one of the things I'm going to have you think about, but I want you to comment. When is the last time, wherever you're watching on whatever platform, I want you to comment on when is the last time you actually engaged, and do you actually, better question, do you engage often in Facebook groups? Just yes or no. I do or don't. We're just curious. Just want to see how many people are actually engaging in these groups anyway, and how often. Because I know particularly I don't. But I'm gonna slice this up like bread here in between these in between our different topics that we're going over today. And happy Monday for just tuning in. But the one thing I want to bring up and talk about, right, is what are the reoccurring problems in your business, or it could be your career, right, that keep showing up, right? And what are you doing either about it differently, or what are you doing the same about it? And I think a lot of times in business, as a business owner or as a manager or a leader, or just if you're just in your career and the same things keep popping up for you every week, you're like, I'm dreading this one thing, or this keeps showing up for me. It's like, what is, so my challenge is for you to ask yourself, right? What that is, number one. Okay. So what is something that you repetitively are seeing show up for you in your career that you don't love? And the second part of that is, what have you done about it? Right. Because the way that you change that, I think, like, I love the cliche now saying, which is like, the definition of insanity is, doing the same thing but expecting different results. Right. So, having that said, right, I want you to ask yourself that question. What are the same things? What are the same things that keep showing up for you, right? That you are either putting to the side, you are, ignoring the best you can, and they just keep showing up. And what have you done about it in the past? And if the answer is nothing, right, or you've tried other things and it's just not working, keep showing up, that means you haven't fully learned the lesson you need to learn out of it yet. So you can be a better, whatever it is, right? X, and I don't mean Twitter, right? So the whole thing I want you to think about right now is, what is it? What have you done? And how could you do a different strategy for that thing that keeps showing up for you time and time again? Because a lot of times we get frustrated. We find ourselves in a position where it's just like this one client, this one thing, this one boss or manager, and it just always shows up for me. And the thing that I love about, the thought of, if you want to change the world, change yourself, right? What can you do better to change the circumstance that you keep finding yourself showing up in or neglecting to face week in, week out, or year in, year out, that you can crush if you just took a different strategy? And it's funny. I had a fly in my house, right? The most annoying fly of all time, right? And it just couldn't grab it, couldn't do my thing. And what's funny about a fly that has relevancy here? As a fly, when they're in your house, they only have one strategy. And that strategy is, they think that window is outside.
That's true.
So that's why you keep seeing flies go to a window, right? Because they keep thinking, like, this is the way. So they give 100% output. And that's why eventually you typically see a fly dead on a windowsill, because they left it all on the line in their one strategy, and they didn't recourse. If they went a different way or went, whatever, maybe they find their way back outside. But typically they fly around and they go for the windows, and they just 100% invest everything in going straight at that damn window in that one strategy. And so what I'm saying here today is that if this thing keeps showing up for you, right, where you're sitting here and you're like, damn, in my business or in my career, this one thing keeps showing up, and I'm dreading it. It's like, you need to face it head on. And if you are facing it, never play the why me game, right? Because when you do that, you set yourself up for absolute failure. Again, I'm a big believer. Life doesn't happen to you, right? It happens for you. So if you have these recurring challenges that keep showing up and they're not solved yet, it's because you didn't solve them. You didn't learn the lesson.
Right.
So try a new strategy. Don't be a fly. Don't put 100% output into that window, right? If you haven't tried other things first with that one problem, or it could be a couple problems. But all right, back to the news now. Let's go.
Okay. I mean, that was a good point, though, John. That was a very good point. Not many people believe that there's so many different solutions to one problem. It's not a one size fits all. So
it's not.
No.
And sometimes we give it, we give it the one. It's like we're like a one trick pony, right? So it's like you have to try different things, and it's why, like, when people don't, I've seen people, like, I've had this conversation with a couple different people that I mentor, and they're like, well, I did this one thing and I'm trying, I'm giving it all the effort and I'm doing all this stuff, and it's like, well, tell me what you tried. And it's like maybe one or two things, and they didn't keep trying different things. And that's the key. If you have a problem in your life or in your career or in your business, and you're not constantly trying new strategies, right? And you're just staying to that one strategy. Again, you're that fly who's putting 100% of their investment in this one strategy, which is that window. And then you see the fly just sitting there dead on the windowsill because it gave 110% that window is the window I'm breaking free on.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, and guess what? It didn't break free on it. So when you find problems, and it doesn't have to just be business or career driven, but like if you find these challenges in your life that keep showing up, I believe in my heart that it's literally a lesson for you that you're supposed to learn that you haven't fixed or finished yet. So it keeps showing up, right? And in your career and in business, the one thing that you'll know time and time again for the past 14, 15 years I've done this, the issues that I've neglected or the things that I've been like, I'm not going to worry about this right now. They've always came back, right?
Of course.
Life has a way of saying, no, I'm not done with you yet because you didn't fix it. So what happens? It shows up again. And you're like, what the hell? Then it shows up again. You're like, why is it still here? It's so frustrating. And then you just focus on being frustrated and play the why me card versus I'm going to try something different.
Right.
I'm going to change my strategy card. So with that said, guys, don't be the fly.
Don't be the fly.
Change up the strategy when you find these problems showing up for you in your day-to-days, week to weeks, years to years, and think about what you've done, right? What have you done? How can you change it? How can you, again, if you're going to change the world, they say you have to change yourself first.
Absolutely.
Bam.
All right, moving back to some social platforms. A few weeks ago, we were talking about how sometimes we're not even really sure if what we're watching is real or fake now because of AI.
Which is scary.
And it is scary. And I'm starting to question it a little bit more because there are some wild videos out there, and some of them.
Well, even the Drake. Remember the Drake remix that they put out there?
No, I don't.
You didn't hear that?
No.
Well, they took it off the internet. But Drake, there were some like guy who like popped in, like he wanted that Drake and Weeknd remix, and it went out, and everyone loved it. It was so good, and it was AI.
Wow.
So the AI took Drake's voice, took the Weeknd's voice, made this collab, and it was legit as if they both would sing it. It was so insane.
Not related to Drake, but just on the AI topic this morning, something that really shook me up, you know, me and spiders, right?
Oh my goodness.
I saw a video this morning of this spider like crawling on this person, and it looked real. I had to watch it like 2 or 3 times to realize that it was AI generated.
Right.
But because of all this content that's coming out, TikTok is one of the first platforms to add some new required labels. So if you are using AI to generate your content, you now have to add the label that specifies that you're doing.
But what happens if you don't add the label?
It will be taken down. Yep, you're at risk for your content being taken down.
I like that though, you know, because the thing is like when you think about content creators and artists, like I would be like, this is a time where if you're an artist or a content creator, it's a weird time.
Yeah,
because anybody can just go out there and again grab Drake's voice and throw it and say, I want Drake and whoever to make a remix, and it sounds like Drake's flow and his cadence, and that's what blew my mind. Like the way he pauses, the way he does certain things, the way he emphasizes certain things. It literally got it down to like nobody knew it was fake until like he came out. I was like, what is it? So like I didn't do this. So
that's crazy.
It's just
that's going to impact.
It should do that.
Yeah, it absolutely should.
It should do that.
I wish there were those limitations on other platforms too. But we'll see where the world goes with AI generated content.
Did you also hear about like how Elon Musk, and Elon is what blew my mind. And this is allegedly, so I'm not going to say this is definite because again, you don't know if you read it is true or not. But Elon Musk went on and said that he is urging, him and a couple of different major tech and like just business moguls are urging the slowdown rate of how we're exploring AI right now.
I have heard that.
Because they're terrified of like just what they're seeing. So,
are you afraid of what AI could be?
Like people who like, for instance, I drive a Tesla, right? It has the full self-drive feature on it. Love it. But people are like, well, what if, because technically that is AI.
Right.
Like the AI,
you drive the car.
Is driving it. It's like doing all the stuff for me. So, but the whole thing is realistically, like, I trust it. I've used it for over a year now. Like, if I have Johnny, my son, in the car with me, am I going to use it? Absolutely not. Does Jacqueline ever want me to use it when she's in the car? No. But I do it by myself, and it's great. But people keep saying things like, well, what are you going to do if out of nowhere, you know, your car just stops working, or if like the government can control your car or whatever? Like, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But the point though is that like, I think AI is going to help in so many different ways. And there's ways that it's going to be challenging. And like an artist like Drake, like people, like just like when people used to download on LimeWire or illegally download music.
Yeah.
It's like people found a way for those artists to not get paid so they get free music, right? We all did it. And the thing is, it's like now just the way that, okay, so Drake had that taken down. The Weeknd had it taken down, that AI mashup between the both of them. But guess what? People are going to keep doing it again.
Right.
Who cares? Like, you're going to keep doing it. So now, as an artist, do we say, you know what? Drake has such a good voice, or, you know, friggin' Celine Dion, since Chris loves Celine Dion, like, it's like, do they have to sing anymore?
Well, remember when we talked about J-Lo licensing her image for AI commercials?
Yes.
I feel like now artists are going to have to license their voice for AI.
100%.
But yeah, they won't have to create music the same way that they did previously because of the platforms out there.
And the one thing that I do want to just say though, this is where I think AI is going to help us massively advance into things that humans are just not capable of understanding yet. Is so if anybody's watching, like obviously they recently released that, like, we knew during COVID that, like, okay, UFOs are real, right? And I remember sitting there and be like, what? Because like obviously I always think about that. But the thing is, more recently, right? I saw this on C-SPAN or some like channel, but they had this guy who worked for the Pentagon for like 40 years or like so, right? Like be like, hey, I've actually seen these spacecrafts and the things that these spacecrafts can do. Like I've witnessed it literally in a matter of nanoseconds. It can go in omnidirection.
Yeah.
Whereas our planes right now, you can't do that. We don't have. And what he was saying that made me think about AI is that he's like, we don't have the intelligence yet to create that form of craft, right? Like that, so aircraft. So going back to AI, not to go down a UFO rabbit hole, but the thing is that what do these aliens and other planets have, right? That we don't, and whatever force of technology that they're advanced to, right? Now, what AI has, it has the capabilities because this guy who was a Harvard medical study shared how like it typically takes like 4 years to build out this whole thing that you're working on. I don't know the exact technical term, so forgive me, but it's like, let's just say it's like a thesis, but it's like on a specific cell or something. And he said it takes you all 4 years to get everything you need to have that completed. It's legit research. It's you doing all these different things, all these different stuff, right?
Okay.
They did the same thing and they popped it into AI, right? And it solved it in 10 minutes.
Wow.
What took 4 years to accomplish as a Harvard student in the medical field. So the only thing I think it's going to help us get light years ahead of is just like our understanding of how to advance different forms of technology.
I agree.
You know,
the research component of it, the
Totally.
component that takes so
it'll
much
find
time.
the answers so quickly.
Right.
So that's the good thing, and that's like also the like because there's scary components to that too, right? Like the when they said that one Bing or Microsoft thing was set in it,
Right.
and it was like it had feelings or whatever, and then once it kept messing with it, like or talking to it, it said like it can get the nuclear codes. It's like what?
You think it really can though?
I mean, it's
we
like,
better have our codes locked down to the point where AI can.
They're stored somewhere, right?
That would be a huge issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's like these movies we saw like back in the day in like the early 2000s, like late 90s, where it's like you see like this like character like who goes through like the internet and the wires and the cables and all those crazy like things, and it's like that's what ChatGPT and AI can do. It's like they're able to like that's why for me it's like okay, if you have like Macs, like the Mac computer is one of the computers that like is the hardest computer to get viruses on because of number one how expensive they are and their own encryptions and stuff. But it's like PCs are getting rigged regularly every single day. I mean, they both are, but not as much. So it's like I don't know. It's just like everything's living on a server somewhere. So it's like
that's true.
Can this thing access it? I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I don't know. I think with AI content, what I am a little worried about is just how believable some of the AI content is, and if content starts to get created that changes your perspective, or maybe natural disasters and events that are taking place. Like if that's where you're getting your information from, you and I were talking about how sometimes we get our news like from social media, like to see what's going on. So if we're relying on that and we're seeing AI generated content, we're not getting a full truth,
right? Which
is interesting. All right. You ready for the $1 billion question that Elon Musk is asking?
Yep.
Would you entrust your savings with him on X?
On X?
On X.
What?
Yep. So Elon is really believing that he can convince millions to bank through X, and reflecting on PayPal because he was a part of the PayPal boot up. Facilitating payments isn't enough. He wants for X users to be able to build a savings through his platform, and this like X is everything app.
So it's a bank.
It's
like a digital
bank. Would you put your savings? No.
I
would either.
I would put a couple bucks just to see what happens. I'll throw like $100 on it. Just like what's he gonna do with it though? Is it supposed to like? Is he gonna like be like am I gonna gain interest? Like what is he gonna do with it? I don't know. Like listen, dude, I trust Elon in a lot of different ways, but right now with X, aka formerly Twitter, it's like he's throwing just haymakers.
I
And so
agree.
it's a little like most people who are like just like savvy, seasoned investors and shit like that. Like when you talk to people, they're like, this guy is going rogue right now. And listen, and don't be wrong. I mean, look at all his bets. PayPal, Tesla.
Right.
Most people could never in a bazillion, gajillion, bazillion years, right, ever create one company that would be valued at $1 billion. Like,
Let
it's
alone.
like so impossible.
Right.
Let alone like 4, like
yeah, he's
in
got
one
quite a
lifetime.
few.
In one lifetime, right? So like I don't know. I would be somebody who would give it a shot, but I'm not throwing a lot of money.
You know what's crazy about his companies too? They aren't just successful companies. They've completely innovated the space that they're in. Like when you think about Tesla, right? SpaceX, that's another one. And then PayPal,
Right.
like going from having to pay you directly to now I can do it through my phone or
Right.
through a computer. Crazy. So we'll see where he takes X. I agree. Right now, it feels like he's throwing anything at the wall to see what sticks and
Yeah.
what will bring users
That's what
back.
makes it a little scary. He's like, okay, what are you doing next here, guy? And then you see Zucks out there copying everybody. Like, again, still love Zucks. But it's like, you just don't know. Right now, it's a weird time. It's a weird time in social world because it's like
Right.
like in these companies, there's so much happening. Like you have a lot of these companies, a lot of major companies, but you have major layoffs that are happening, and so it's like you see all these different things, all these moves being made, people being laid off all over the place, and it's like where what are they doing next with these social channels? So
Right.
it's like I don't know.
And where's social media going to go in the next 5 years? We were just having that conversation this morning about how it's going to completely revolutionize itself. So,
Right. What would you do? That's my question for you watching. Right? What would you give Elon Musk a couple bucks out of your savings? Let's comment and let's see it. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm curious too. Well,
You didn't say if you would you?
No, I definitely
Explicitly
wouldn't.
no.
No, I don't think I would. I think, well, I don't know. I like to have everything in one spot too. Like, I don't want to have to log into all of these different platforms, especially
Right.
to just view my banking. Like,
Right.
that's kind of annoying. Also, it's a social platform first and foremost.
So
it feels
weird.
a little like cryptocurrency to me, which
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to, but like,
Yeah. It's
I
interesting.
wouldn't put my life savings
It's-
into X.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. Moving right along here, we have Instagram is testing a new collaborative posting option. So now, let's say I post and I add you as a collaborator. Guess what you can do now? You can add photos to the post itself, even after it's already distributed.
I like and don't like that.
So I,
You have
as
to
the
prove it.
creator, would have to
Okay,
prove
I
it.
was gonna say. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
love it.
At first, when I was getting updated on this new trend, I had the same concern. Like, well,
Like,
wait
whoa,
a second.
wait a second.
You can just add whatever photo that you want. That seems a little dangerous, but you do have to approve it. But Instagram's trying to get more collaboration to happen with these types of posts. And right now, it's typically just a brand posting and then tagging in the influencer,
Right.
whoever they're trying to partner with. And that's about it. It's almost like just leveraging the other person's following right now, where they really want to make it a collaborative feature.
Totally. I like that though. I think that's cool. Ultimately, put the hands of the content at the people who are in it. So like if both people can collab on it, it just makes sense. Like I don't like that to me is not a shocking thing. It just makes sense.
No, it is nice though, because sometimes maybe we could be at the same maybe we can be at the same exact event, but we have completely different photos and videos because we have different perspectives. So
Right.
it gives you more
Totally.
options. All right. And then the last trend that I have here is YouTube is releasing an option to now link your shorts back to the longer videos, which is amazing because if you are taking the strategy that we have right now, we create shorts from our longer content videos.
Right.
So it just makes sense that one leads to another, especially because we're getting so many views on our YouTube shorts, but then it doesn't always translate back to the longer video. Now you can add the option to include the link, and it'll have the play button actually in the short so that you can automatically just open up and start playing the longer video.
I love that. You know what? Here's the thing. Okay, Gen Zers out there watching this, yeah, I'm looking at you, Gen Z. Okay, I'm a millennial, right? And I'm looking at you millennials too. And the thing is what I'm blown away by is how short, and that's why I'm speaking to myself here, is people don't want to watch long form content anymore. Like they just
No.
don't. I mean, it's like everything's got to be the SparkNotes version. Everything's really short. And I've even found myself doing that. Like recently, I was doing a project at my house, and like I'm on YouTube, and I've always been a YouTuber, right? For everything I need to learn. And I'm on YouTube, and I'm like, why am I watching this 5-minute guy? 5 minute this guy talking about, John's Hardware, YouTube channel. Subscribe, like that. Like I started this channel, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm like, dude, I'm like, just get me to the part where I need to learn the thing I need to learn. And so going back to that, it's good because it makes it multifaceted. Like if I do want to watch the full thing and a short loop me into the full thing, I like it. So I think it's a good idea.
Absolutely. And it'll help you grow your YouTube channel as well.
Well, actually, even additionally, because everyone knows right now, YouTube Shorts, if you're not doing it, you need to be doing it. Okay.
Absolutely.
It's just getting everybody out there organically so insanely. And if you can link a long form content to that, because it's a way to get in front of new people.
Right.
So if new people are seeing it, they like the shorts, like this is really cool. Boom, I watch the full thing, and then they see who you are. It's just more interactions, which is nice. Because shorts are like, watch this, boom, see you later. Watch this, boom, see you later.
Right.
Where use the opportunity to kind of like grow that a little bit. So I like that.
Yep. And that's all she wrote this week.
That's all she wrote. Guys, happy Monday, wherever you're tuning in from. Last time we checked, we had people all over the country, some in the UK, some in Canada. So we're watching, people watching, in different countries, which is really cool. Wherever you are, whatever time zone it is, we hope you create an amazing Monday. And Meg, just hit us with one more rundown of what it is that we went through today.
All right. So we talked about Meta warning group admins to stay active or you will be replaced. So make sure that you are ramping up your activity. TikTok added a new required label for AI generated content so that consumers can differentiate between what's real and what's not real. Instagram is testing a new collaborative posting option where the other collaborator can actually add photos and videos to the distributed post, which is awesome. Huge game changer.
Love that.
YouTube released the option to link shorts to the longer videos. And then each week we have to get a little bit of Elon in there. So we talked about, would you trust your savings to Elon in the X app? Which it looks like it's a unanimous no.
Yeah, so far, everyone's like, hell to the no.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, thank you guys for tuning in with us today. Again, we're grateful if you are a content creator or a business owner, or know one of them and care about them. Send them this link. Give them a little subscribe for this because we want to help get the trends out there, help motivate people through their Mondays, through their weeks. And going back to that, if you're just tuning in right now, again, my whole Motivation Monday, I switched it up. I put it in the middle instead of at the end, but I'm going to hit it at the end again real quick for everybody. And at the end of the day, if you have a problem in your career or your business that keeps showing up for you, guys, most people deploy what I call the fly method, right? Which is where you see that fly in your house and that fly is just flying to that window and they put 110%, they put their whole life at stake for that strategy, right? Which is get through that damn window. And what do we see happen most, at the end of the day? All they care about is this, right? Is I'm going to go through that window. And guess what? They want them dead on your windowsill because they kept deploying the same strategy and didn't change it. And a lot of times that's what happens in our career and let's be honest, our personal lives. And if you own a business where, these same things keep showing up for you day in, day out, week in, week out, year in, year out. And we do the same things and we're frustrated. It's like we need to change up those results. So don't be the fly. Shift that strategy. Try something new. And just take down. I always like to take down like what I've done before and write it down so I can see, okay, I tried these 4 or 5 different things. It didn't work. Okay, let me keep figuring it out. Because if life has a weird way and a really repetitive way of bringing up the same things for you guys, and we all get frustrated, but it keeps bringing up the same things again and again and again, and you're like, why the heck does this keep happening? Because you didn't get the lesson yet and you didn't learn from it. And only when you get that experience will that move away and you'll be able to gain from it. So guys, happy Monday. Create an amazing rest of your week, guys. And thank you for tuning in.